Hey friends, so excited. So I am on a mission this year to connect with all my agent friends from around the country and the world to see what they're doing that might be unique and bring that information back to you guys. And so I'm excited to kick off the first one with a very, very near and dear friend of mine, Chris Norton, out of Keller Williams, Princeton, New Jersey. And Chris and I have known each other for many years in different career fields when we first met. But Chris is doing something pretty cool that I think you guys might want to see. It's a real value add, not just for Chris, but for his clients too. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Have a good one and Happy New Year. I'm so
All
excited.
right.
I have my longtime friend. I mean, we were just saying like 12, 13 years, something crazy like that, right?
We're not going to talk about that any
Oh yeah,
longer.
okay, that's right. That does age us a little bit, right? So
What I do think is interesting, though, is we came into this business almost to the same day.
I
I
know it
still
is.
think it's
That is
hilarious.
crazy. I know.
Yeah.
So this is my pal Chris Norton up in the Princeton, New Jersey area, and we're gonna blame our friend Amethyst Albert for us coming into real estate in Keller Williams almost on the same day. Our pal down in
Yeah.
Fayetteville, North Carolina. All these military connections of us knowing each other
Absolutely.
forever.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm excited because you and I were just on the phone, just shooting the stuff, right?
hmm
And chatting. And, you were telling me about these like really great, like, things you've added to your listing, portfolio of what it is you offer sellers, right? And I got
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
jazzed because, I always love it when you and I talk like tech and video and stuff like that anyway. But I got pretty excited because I'm also, I don't want to say cheap, but
Thrifty. Thrifty is
thrifty.
the word I
Yeah.
prefer to use.
We're business owners, right? So we have to be smart about this.
I'm looking for two pennies so I
Yeah,
can squeeze
yeah,
them
yeah,
together right
yeah.
now.
Listen. We don't
Oh,
create
I
all
have
this.
'em. I got them right here. I
Yeah.
have my two
Yeah.
pennies on my
Do
desk.
you? That's it right there. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm always training, right? When I'm training here in my local market, I'm always telling people you can't spend money unless you got money, right? Unless you're making money.
Yep.
And that's kind of how I started out, really, protecting my dollars so that we could build it big. But I really love what you're doing. And obviously we're gonna go ahead and institute everything we've talked about here for our listings because I just was told yesterday by my director of operations that I'm doubling my listing count for 2022. So I've got to,
Nice.
really pick it up.
Nice.
Really pick it
Right.
up. Yeah.
Well, what that means is, you're doubling your marketing expense. So you got to figure out how do I cut down on that margin, right?
Right.
And so we'll talk about a little bit of
Yeah.
that today.
Well, Chris, so we talked a little bit how you and I joined real estate right around the same time. 2016.
2016.
Yeah,
Would have been
2016.
June 2016.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, June 2016. So, but tell me a little bit more about what brought you into real estate, your
Sure.
market there.
Okay. So, kind of an easy story. So, background and how Erin and I know each other is, we both have military ties. I happen to be a retired Army Reserve lieutenant colonel, but when I met Erin, I had been working at AT&T in what's called the talent attraction program. Most people call it recruiting. My job was to get military spouses, family members, veterans, people coming off of their active duty service, and help them find jobs at AT&T. That was my role at that point. I got recruited away myself from AT&T to help launch a startup, which, kind of like real estate, most startups fail. I'm part of that dustbin in history at this point and had a, real fun 3-year run during which Erin and I worked together, as well as Amethyst and I. They actually helped me growing my, I had responsibility for field sales and marketing and, growth of the product. And so they were helping me out in the field with that. And then long story short, if you ever decide to launch a startup, make sure you have the right investors. We did not have the right investors. We had the wrong fundamentally the wrong investors. So in any case, our company died, and I found myself with a whole lot of free time. And I had some money saved up, so I said to the boss lady, said, "Hey, I've always kind of had this interest in, the real estate industry, and I've never had the time to pursue it. I think now's the time. And she said, fine, you have 6 months of runway, after which I'm going to get on your butt and you're going to have to get a real job. And I managed to get paid in 5 months, which is great. So I'm 5 months into this thing, but I'm starting to see some progress. And it was a couple months after that I actually got my very first listing, which happened to be, oddly enough, I mentioned I was in the reserves. It was my general, my commanding general, asked me to sell her house for her. And
no pressure. No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah,
no
5 months in.
Whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I distinctly remember, I said, guys, this is my, I'm asking around the office. I said, guys, this is my very first listing. What do I do? And I was like, I got to get the professional photographer. I said, okay, professional photographer. Right? And I go out and I spend $350 on what I ultimately thought was garbage. I thought the tint and saturation was wrong, and I thought the angles were terrible. I thought the photographer did a crummy job of lighting. Oh, by the way, I happened to have been the high school yearbook photographer like 25 years prior. So, I knew how to do a lot of this. In fact, I had a lot of the equipment already because I had been a photographer as a hobbyist for a while. So I looked at what I paid $350 for, and I said, I'm not doing that again. I ended up going back and reshooting everything. I didn't have the right glass, I didn't have the right lens, but I already had most of the equipment. And I did a little Googling, and I said, what I really need is a 10 to 18 millimeter zoom lens to go with the body I already have. Which, by the way, you can buy that body now for $100.
And the body, for those who don't know, that's the actual camera base, right? Yeah. Because this is a big one for you, right? This is your commanding general. This is you can't mess around. Yeah.
Right. So, there's two basic parts to a camera, right? There's the body, which is this part, and then there's the lens. And the lens is what actually is your moneymaker when it comes to listing photography. And at the time, all I had it was a camera body that could just do stills. This one I've upgraded since. But I went out and bought this lens off of Amazon for, I think it was $218, right? And now I could shoot things the way I wanted to. I threw an external flash on the body. I threw a flash diffuser. I'm all in $300,
right?
In addition to what I already had at this point, right? And now, that's literally one listing photo session. And now I'm able to do it on my own, do it the way I want. It doesn't cost me any more money than it did previously. This is cool. I can actually do this myself. The thing sold, bang. Got another listing immediately after that. Shot it myself, bang. Right? And these are professional quality photos.
Well, and that's the important thing.
Right.
You're not pulling out your cell phone and trying to pass that off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, part of the trick is, it does cost me a little money out of pocket, mainly because I haven't taken the time to teach, and I could. I just haven't taken the time to teach myself how to properly retouch images myself. So I've made the conscious decision that I outsource that. I have a third-party service. I'm trying to teach my daughter to do. I'm trying to encourage my 16-year-old daughter.
She's 16. Yeah, you would think
Photoshop so I can pay her.
Yeah.
But for a typical photography job, I spend about $40 to $50 in retouch fees.
That's
compared to $300. Hey, that's a no-brainer. Right?
But you're also leveraging that time too, right? Because it takes time.
Right. It's time I get back. I literally upload it. I go about my merry way.
Because you made a good point earlier to me when we were talking about the fact that most of us are there on site with the photographers when we're paying somebody else.
So my thought process when I decided to start doing this myself, I'm like, we all sit there at the photography session with the cameraman, so we're not saving any time by hiring somebody else. It's just an expense.
I'm always hiding around the corner trying not to throw shadows on anything.
Right. And so it never made sense to me. In my own case, since I knew how to do it, right? Why I would pay somebody else to do something I knew how to do if it wasn't saving me any time.
Right.
It's like paying a guy to mow your lawn when you got a tractor yourself and you're not doing anything. You're just sitting there drinking a mint julep. Actually, that sounds pretty cool. Never mind.
A mint julep.
Right. Okay, so we'll rewind on that one. So in any case, my whole DIY approach started to evolve, and then I ended up saying to myself, "Well, you know what I really need? I need to throw some, a little more pizzazz in there that makes me look a little more, compared to my peers. How do I look sexier?" So I went out and got this guy. Googly eyes always make things better.
They
So
do. They do.
this
I
is
do like
this
it.
is my first drone. I think I spent $800 on this thing like 3 years ago,
Yeah.
4 years ago at this point. I've since upgraded him. Okay,
Mhm.
but this started allowing me to do video as well as stills, and that got me thinking. Well, if I could do video from the air, I probably want to do video from the ground. So this was like $700. Okay, and they said, "Well, how am I going to do video?" And you mentioned the iPhone before, right? The iPhone actually has a really good
Yeah,
camera.
it
Um,
does. It does. And it just keeps getting better. That without a
right.
doubt. Yeah.
So what I introduced into that world was a
Mhm.
gimbal to stabilize my iPhone, and I started shooting video with
That
this
is
thing.
my
Okay?
favorite tool.
I've since upgraded this bad boy too.
Mhm.
Now, I don't have that in here. That's upstairs on the table. It's not supposed to be on. But I now have a gimbal
Look,
that will hold
I'm
my
right there
whole.
with you.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
Yeah,
right there
you
with
got the
you.
better version. Yeah, yours
Yeah.
folds. Mine doesn't.
Well, I
Um,
had to because I carry it around so much that I
right.
had to upgrade. And we do so much video, Chris, because like you, we're in a military town,
Yeah,
obviously.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and video is great. Video allows you to do all sorts of stuff for retargeting
Oh
and
yeah.
advertising. So this guy I'm holding right now, I actually have a gimbal that'll hold this thing.
Whoa.
Yeah,
How
like
heavy
it's
is
this big
that?
contraption. This is like in its configuration right now. It's probably about 4.5 pounds.
Okay.
You throw a light on it, it starts
Yeah.
to get closer to 5. The gimbal I have will do like up to 9 pounds.
Wow.
I have no need for that.
Right.
But it
Right.
allows me to do some really, really cool stuff. It's got a shoulder strap, so I basically will transition from like a drone flying down at the front door, and then I'll do a cut, and then it'll be me with this thing on the gimbal zooming through the house, kind of like the drone just kind of
Right.
continuing to fly
Right.
through.
Right.
It really is neat.
And you're doing
And
your own video editing,
I do
correct?
my own video
Yeah.
editing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That part I really enjoy doing. Like
It's fun. Yeah.
I have a ton of fun doing that. That's you do it at night, sitting in the big comfy chair with
Hmm.
a hot tea or the beverage of your choice. And, you just kind of sit there and do it. I'd much rather do that than watch TV.
Yeah.
All in. In fact, if I can share the screen
Yeah.
real
Let
quick,
me.
and I'm going to go through some numbers on just what my expense range looks like, and then I'm going to show you guys some stuff that I think is cool. So real quick, let's see, window. Where is it? All right. So I just did this. Can you see the spreadsheet?
Yep. They got it.
Okay, got it. All right. So I just kind of took stock before this call of my current built kit out, if you will, as far as what I have in there, and on the low and high end of what you can expect to spend for this stuff. So, with what I have right now, that camera body that I started off with, I looked it up. You can get them for $100.
Wow.
It'll work just fine, right?
Yeah.
The zoom lens I use, and there's different manufacturers, but they run about $200, right?
Uh-huh.
You're going to need a flash. You want to get a diffuser for it so you don't throw shadows, right?
Right.
That's another $10. We'll come back to this guy later.
Yes.
You're going to want a tripod. You're going to want a selfie stick. My selfie stick, by the way, I wish I had it. It's out in the car. It's literally a broomstick handle that I have a 1/4-inch thread stuck in the bottom of it. It's
I like it.
literally a
But
stick,
that's
Erin.
that's a good length though too when you think about it.
Oh.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. It's literally a stick. Assuming you go down the route of a drone, expect to spend $700. Expect to spend 300 or so on a good heavy gimbal if you decide to do video, right? Now I mentioned the drone. If you use a drone in our business,
Mm-hmm.
the operator of that drone had best have the Small Unmanned Aerial System or Part 107 license. It costs $150 to get.
Oh yeah,
If
it's
you
worth it.
use aerials on a listing, let's say you got a toy drone or something like that, and you use it for something you can derive a material benefit of, i.e., sell your listing, and you get caught by the FAA not having been licensed when you took that picture, they'll fine you 10 grand. So for me, it's worth
Woo!
$150. I'll spend
Yeah,
$150. So
yeah.
long and short of it is, you're probably looking at about, if you went with the full build out I have, you're looking at about $2,000 expense. Like Erin said, don't spend money you don't have, right? But if you're at the point where you can invest a little bit back into your business,
Hmm.
that $2,000, assuming you spend on average $300 per photography job, I think that's probably a good estimate wherever you're at, right? Obviously I'm up here in New Jersey, so things cost a little more. But I think that's probably a fair number to use for planning purposes. You're looking at like 6 or 7 listings
Yeah,
to
that's
to
great.
get all of this stuff, right?
Yeah,
If you've
yeah.
done that, you don't have to make that expense anymore. So,
Well, and we're
I
spending on average here $350 per listing. We're right around 50 listings this year, right?
right,
And
right,
so that has me at $17,500.
yeah. I mean, you're better off buying the gear.
Yeah, yeah. So even if
And
I
again,
bought
you're
the
not saving any
gear,
time. You're not
yeah,
saving any time. You know,
yeah.
um, you
Even
know
with
that.
the processing that you were talking about, the third
Yeah,
party editing, that's
yeah,
that's only 2,000 at 50 listings a year.
yeah,
So and next year I
yeah.
got to double that. So that's a
Exactly,
huge
exactly. So
difference.
it's a good way. It's a good way to control your expenses, at least from my lens, right?
Hmm.
And to be fair, I enjoy doing it.
Right. Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Now, side note, since I started doing this, I actually, um, I began when the pandemic started. Uh, I have a piece of equipment I mentioned earlier called the Matterport capable camera. It's
Hmm.
actually this little guy, right?
Hmm.
So everybody knows Matterport. That's that 3D scan, and it used to be that if you wanted a Matterport, you had to go to a Matterport photographer because they had specialized equipment they had to use. By the way, that specialized equipment is like 5 grand.
Yeah.
This
No.
camera,
I mean, I always like
lenses on it.
I
Right.
tease myself looking at it. I go to the booth every time I'm at, Keller Williams Family
Yep.
Reunion or Mega Camp
Hmm.
every
Right.
single time because I'm like, I love the technology aspect of it. It's fun. The house I bought had Matterport. I still have the
Right.
Matterport saved to my phone so I can still walk through it. I don't know why because I
Absolutely.
live there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, you live
that's
there.
how much I like
Yeah,
it.
it's neat, but
Yeah,
it's really neat.
I can't bite off on the camera cost.
Well, and you don't have to actually,
Right.
which is cool. So, but what I had done is I had this thing, okay, and I had purchased an earlier model of this because if you can see it real close, let's see.
Hmm.
It's a double fisheye camera lens. Okay, it's literally this little thing. It's less than the size of a pack of cards. And I bought an earlier iteration of it because it allowed me to capture 360-degree video tours. So, if you serve the military community in particular, but a lot of highly mobile demographics, it's not unusual for people to have to buy a property sight unseen, and they're relying on photography and stuff generated by the listing agent, which again, it's designed to sell the house. Okay, it's the Annie Leibovitz School of Real Estate Photography,
Right.
which I'm a graduate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's very, very different. Okay, when you throw in a zoom lens like this on here, it's going to make the rooms look bigger, right? It's going to capture all the corners. And, it's really going to show very differently than it does necessarily in real life. Okay, um, so I'm sure most people watching this at one point or another showed a property on FaceTime, for example. It's just really hard to do. Like it's not
Yeah.
a great experience. The buyers miss a lot of stuff. So I had gotten it. Let's see. Hold on. I'm actually going to show you guys. Bring this up real quick.
Well,
on
and
the
we
side.
did a lot of 360, with
Right.
our out of town buyers. And, so we would do video, FaceTime, whatever. And then, and if you haven't seen how we do our 360, I'll send you our
Yeah, I
FaceTime
think you do it
offers.
differently than I do. But
Yeah.
what I have on the screen right now is actually one that my buyer is in. Hell is he right
I love
now?
that YouTube
He's
can
in Yuma.
support this now, by the way,
He's in
because
Yuma, Arizona right now. He's never been in New Jersey. He's buying this house.
oh wow.
Like
Yeah.
it's through inspections and everything. So you can see the shadow of my selfie stick right there.
There you go.
But this little guy allows me to capture a relatively high definition video walkthrough that the buyer, here I'll jump us in the house, the buyer can actually change perspectives on, and they can rewind and look up and look down and really, look at things that are important to them, and they can do it differently than you would with, say, a FaceTime.
Right.
Where you're spinning around and they miss things, and now they're like, wait a minute, hey, this is kind of cool. I get a good idea of the layout of this house, right? So I bought it initially for this purpose, and what happened?
Real quick, when you're sharing these for your buyer, right? These videos, these are unlisted YouTube videos, correct? I know that's going to come up as a question.
These are not shared publicly.
Yeah. So you're just sharing the unlisted link directly with that buyer. I know that question will come up.
Exactly. Yep. It is. It's to make sure that these don't bubble out to other places. I have on occasion actually done this for my own listings.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I find nobody really watches them, so it's kind of like, I'm not gonna bother doing that. But I could, and I just haven't in a while, to be honest with you. But so originally, I purchased this piece of equipment for the purpose of doing these 360 cams, or these 360 tours. But what I did since then is, hold on, let me pull this puppy out. What I learned was that you can now do Matterport tours.
Love it.
Okay, so for those that don't know, this is what a Matterport tour is, and I can push it out to the MLS. I can use it as part of my own marketing. So it allows me to generate a 360-degree walkthrough of the property
without a $5,000-$6,000 plus camera.
Without a $5,000 camera, right? And we're gonna go down in the basement here. It's not much to look at. It's an unfinished basement, but clients really started taking to this during the pandemic. Okay. Because it allowed them to tour homes without going into them. Employers love it for the same reason. So what I had started doing was I started offering this up to people in my office. I said, guys, I can do this, right? And I started charging them below market rates to go, to make these tours for them. And then
what are you guys paying for a traditional Matterport video? I think we're like an additional $150 to $250 here.
Yeah, that's about right. I charge. I started off charging 7 cents per square foot, which was a little bit below market. Market right now is 9, I think. I'm at 8.
Okay.
So I really do it for my own office, my own market center.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a few other people in the area that I'll do it for. It's turned into a side stream of business for me, where the fact I have the capability to do this 3D tour, and oh, by the way, I can now do floor plans.
This blew my mind
this
here.
Thing right
I
here,
love that.
Actually, when you scan it, allows me to generate a floor plan for people, which is really cool. The other thing that's actually real cool is, let's go back to it. So if I wanted to measure a given space in here, turn on the measurement thing, and I'm actually scanning a place that buyers are closing on Monday. I'm scanning Sunday for them because they're not in the area. But I just measured the distance from the floor to the ceiling for them, right? And I can go back to this one corner if I want, or I can go to this corner. Like if they needed these measurements, they could do it right inside the tool itself.
Which is helpful for those of us that serve these, sight unseen buyers, because otherwise we're making multiple trips
right,
back to the
right.
house. So this is leverage
But
again.
oh, absolutely. But I will tell you that Matterport now, even with this little rinky camera,
Hmm.
will generate a traditional drawn floor plan for you too.
Yeah,
For it's
that's
like
awesome.
$15 for them to do it. So once you scanned it, you can actually right through this add-ons button just generate a floor plan. And it's going to download a zip file. It's going to look
Yeah,
stupid,
yeah,
but
but
it's a regular drawn floor plan,
yeah,
which is pretty cool.
that's great. And this gives you additional, I mean, again, this is, we always talk about that unique selling proposition, right? Um and so I think this kind of gives you that additional leg up in the market to say, not only am I using, you could just do the Matterport on your own and still use professional photography if you don't want to
Absolutely,
do
yeah,
that.
and that's what I started off offering to people. Like, here,
Mhm.
I know your photographer doesn't have this, I do this, and then it morphed into, hey, Chris, can you do the photography on my property? Like, sure, yeah, I can do that for you. And how much is that going to cost? I'm like, I don't know. And then I had to figure out my own rate sheet. So, I'm at the point where I'm seeing $7,000 to $10,000 a year is, a second income stream. Which, hey, that's I enjoy
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah,
Um, but I will tell
absolutely.
you, I don't always have time to do it, which is
Right.
the other thing. So it's not something I can rely on. And side note, I don't know how these guys that are photographers make pay their bills doing it at the rates they charge. Like I don't quite grasp it.
Yeah.
But you know,
Well, they're doing a lot more. I have two photographers here that I traditionally use. One group is probably doing, I mean, there's I think three or four photographers. I think they're doing 10 listings a day. But
right,
I've got another one that I see is out doing two, but he's also doing family photos now, and he
right, right,
rocks.
right, right,
But
right.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do it either, too, especially in a low inventory selling
Mhm.
season that we've seen in the last 18 months. So I think this is pretty interesting, and obviously not to, knock them out, because this is not going to be for everybody to do. I mean, I think it's totally fine to continue leveraging, paying a photographer, or if you wanted to pay somebody for Matterport. But I love the fact that there's this additional option there. Because remind me again, what was the cost of that Matterport Ready camera?
They
That
run
little one?
about they run about $500. Like
Yeah.
for me, it's
Yeah.
hold on, I'm looking at the kits right now. Hang on.
I think, I mean, I bought the 360 camera I had, which was also an Insta 360, I think right after you and I probably first got into the business, 2017 ish, right? To help with our military families. And I think I paid $200 for that, 279 or something. So to see this
Yeah, yeah.
grow,
The
the
capabilities
technology's
have
better.
gone up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
capabilities have definitely got. I'm like, for me, it was worth every penny, and I think I bought the same camera you had.
Yeah. I
No,
think
I
we
take
all
it
have
back.
the same.
The camera's $386.
Yeah, that's not bad. Well, and now to see, because when you and I first got into that, there wasn't a lot of ability to host the 360
Yeah,
do it well, So now
right.
to see it on YouTube, I used to throw it on Facebook
Hmm.
because at one time Facebook had, in fact, that's how I got into my the system that we use for our sight unseen tours. That if you want to see that video, let me know. I've got a training on that. But
Yeah, bring it up. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so we that's how we kind of got into it, because at the time when I was doing those, Facebook seemed to have the best capabilities. So it's good to see YouTube have that, because if you're doing that
Oh
on
yeah.
your listings, what's the greatest search engine in the whole world? YouTube.
Exactly, exactly.
So you're
So
really leveraging at that point quite a bit.
right, right. I've gotten to the point now where like I can combine literally all this stuff, and I'm gonna bring one other thing up for you.
And
Apologies
we're
for the
gonna
music.
send all these links out, everything you're sharing. We're gonna get it to everybody. We're gonna have your contact info on there. Yeah, so you'll have all this stuff, guys. It'll be awesome.
So, I've kind of morphed at this point where I literally can do all of it in house. And what's interesting about that is when I sit, so kind of my flow is for listing appointments is this is me. I'll see you on Thursday at 9:30 a.m. I'm going to send some stuff to you ahead of time, including my bio, so you know a little bit about me, right? And that bio is all the I love me stuff on page one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the second page is a bunch of links,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And those links are, I have to update it periodically, but it's everything in the MLS I've ever sold. So they can look through all of it,
Mhm.
right? And you can set that up so it's buy as well as sell. They never know, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
So, so every transaction I've been involved in, they can look at that.
Mhm.
They can see all my YouTube stuff. They
Mhm.
can see, I give them samples of Matterport tours, so they're looking at all this stuff that I bring to the table. And it really, at this point, it's funny. I think video helps me win listings, but I don't know that it's at the point it helps sell properties.
Right. I would
Okay.
agree with you there. I mean, I'm 100% with you. I think it's kind of that open house, thought process of open
Right.
houses help win listings, help bring more clients in.
Right.
Doesn't
I don't
necessarily
do open houses.
always
And I'll tell you,
sell
I
more
don't do open
houses.
houses, and I don't do, I don't use scripts either.
Yeah,
You know,
we just had this
and at the office, they're like, "What are you
I know
doing?"
People at KWRI right now are like falling apart, just so you know
Right.
this. But because of course they're listening to little Erin's video here. But
Right. Right.
we just had this conversation too. Like I'm not very big on scripts either, but I also like to hear scripts and I like to hear other
Mhm.
people, and then I'll glom pieces and parts of that. But this right here, like
Oh,
what you're showing on the screen, I mean, I'm still attracted, right? Like as a seller, the look of this, right, is so polished, so professional that if you're sending me this polished professional list over, this is hot to me as a seller.
well, and that's the point, So they're getting this. They're like, "Oh, wow! Look, this
Mhm.
guy's got a freaking drone. I know that neighborhood, right?" You know.
Mhm.
So and this is fun to make, by the way.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah. Yeah.
you get to go digging for digging for music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually. I made one recently that people like. What's cool about this is you can drop these in like yard sale groups and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I
People
mean
get
that you're
mad
creating
about
content, right? It's content
right
creation.
content,
Mhm.
but I made one recently that people just hated. They absolutely hated it. Like, your video sucks. It's annoying. That thing looks like a shack. It'll never sell. They could be wrong, more wrong, but my engagement on it was like through the roof. I'm
Right,
like, this is
right.
great.
Yeah.
But this is just a mix right here of gimbal and drone. Actually, I had the homeowner there. He helped open the door for me.
Was he
This is
crouched behind the
actually
door? I like it. I like it.
this is a Naval Academy grad. Actually, he and his wife both graduates like class of I don't know 04 or something like that.
Nice.
House is like spotless. You could eat off the floor. It's kind of
Sure,
funny.
of
You
course
guys
it
aren't
is.
there anymore. You can like
Yeah.
live in it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but the point is you can do all this yourself. Like
Yeah.
this was an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours total of filming for me and footage and all that, which is exactly how long it would have taken if I sat there with the photographer. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I love that idea. You're taking control of it again. And I think as we've seen, as people are, I mean, what's going to be the most important thing in this business is lead generation, period. And that's going to be more
yeah,
important than ever in 2022. So anything you can do to get that unique selling proposition that we had to add a special thing to, but whatever you can do to stand out, things like this, I think, are important. And that's kind of why I love that you shared it with me. And I was like, Chris, we got to share this with everybody else because this is great.
well, so I did something recently. I just turned off my promotion on it, but I said I don't like scripts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went out and bought a teleprompter.
No, did you?
I have a teleprompter. Okay.
All right, I'm sharing this
And
screen. You know what? Okay, Chris, we're too similar because I saved a teleprompter on Amazon yesterday.
it was like $60.
Yeah, they're so cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. They work great.
Mm-hmm.
They work great. But I'll tell you have to get a short lens if you use this.
Right,
So
right.
in any case, this particular video here, I'm not going to bore you with it. It's literally 7 minutes and 10 seconds of me talking to the camera. All right. And the whole point of this is to. I have this thing. I turned off the ads recently because it just wasn't. I have to tweak the
Mm-hmm.
targeting on it. But the whole point of this video is it's basically a bandit sign, but for YouTube.
Right.
With YouTube, when you run a video ad through Google ads, you can put your content in front of someone else's specific content
Right.
runs in front of them. So, like the local Sotheby's, I want to get more market share in Princeton. Well, you know what? Anything they have, this guy right here,
Yeah.
this guy's face is popping up first. And
and what's funny about that is because half the time the ads that pop up first in front of YouTube videos to me have nothing to do with the content I clicked on. So I'm trying to skip those as fast as possible. So now you've created this, like, who knows, who cares what, like, kind of nobody's watching 7 minutes, right?
You get 5 seconds to get their attention so they don't hit skip.
Right.
And then you get 30 seconds before you get billed. My first 5 seconds are, hi. Boy, do I wish I knew how much my house in Princeton was worth. Like, that's my intro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the crazy thing is, it's literally a boring, like, it's me reading from the teleprompter. My average session duration over 4,800 views is 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
For 4 minutes, and I'm blown away by that.
I don't know what adult you're getting their attention for 4 minutes. I mean, that's just
right. And listen, to be fair, this hasn't directly led to any closed deals for me yet. And this is a long game type move, to be completely fair, right? But I got their attention. It's a way for them to start to recognize my brand, right? And now that they've seen it, you're going to keep getting retargeted my other stuff. So, there's a reason for it. Again, this is all stuff I can do because I went out and bought the kit. I have the toys at this point, which cost me about $2,000, right?
Well,
so
and without the teleprompter, without the teleprompter, you could still be even doing that with your. I mean, I'm doing it with my cell phone when we're done with this. Actually, I have a recruiting call after this with.
Nice. Cool.
But after that, I'm going to do it as well. And, I think it's brilliant. I mean, I think I'm consistently saying to newer agents, what else are you doing? You should just be creating content left and right. And so they could create content through listing, advertising, right? Connect with the people in their market center or their brokerage or their office about marketing their listings, but also create content like you just talked about.
Listen, if you're in the KW bubble, Command is great for that. Like Erin, I'm at the point, I've got some campaigns where I'm generating leads for $0.25 a piece.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they do have, Command has some great options.
With me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So,
it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, the tech is out there where you can affordably grow a business. Build that pipeline, and then you got to follow up on it. And I can't
right.
That.
Well, and that's where we actually have another video coming up on follow up. Because I actually read a Tom Ferry quote the other day. I sent it to one of my agents because we were talking about this, and it said, "If you're letting your follow up calls slide, it's no wonder you're not performing to your full potential. Worse yet, you're showing people that you're unreliable." And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
It hit, right? So we're actually going to do a follow-up video. Yeah, because you're right. Like, you're creating content to drive leads. Now what? Right?
Right.
So,
oh God, man, I find them all the time, ones that, I had captured as a lead and they just got away from me. And
oh man, I just closed on my house 30 days ago. Yeah. It's lost money, and I think our average commission is probably around $3,200. That's $3,200 lost. I don't know about you, but I can't just afford to let those go. So you're right. Like once we create the content,
it's brutal.
Brutal. Yeah, for sure. But
kind of back to this though, there's just a lot you can do with a small investment, and some of it's actually fun.
Yeah, no, I love it. So I don't have, I am not camera shy at all, but what my problem tends to be, I'm content shy, right? So I am consistently looking for new ways to create content,
Teleprompter's going to help you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like what I started doing. So, on my leads, right? I've been pretty good at getting seller leads for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
My routine has been, give them something of value once a month, which is, this is the data. This is the data you don't have because you're not a realtor, but I'll give it to you, right? And it's a simple email, and I probably have a 30 to 35% open rate on that, which is pretty good.
That's pretty
right?
good. That's pretty good.
And it's usually good for 3 to 5 deals a year for me. To be fair,
Right.
like it worked.
Okay, that's plenty of money.
What I started doing was I started recording. Again, using the teleprompter. I just did this for the first time this month. And actually I have a survey out there. What do you prefer? Do you prefer video? Do you prefer, just plain old email? And split about half and half. So I recorded, a 3-minute video of me kind of summing up the regional data.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just take this core video content, and at the end of it, I'm just going to slide in, the 10 or I have to do this like 15 times. It sucks because I do work in about 15 towns. But I'll take I'm up in New Jersey, the New Jersey Association of Realtors, homogenized data from all the MLSs. I'll take that and like, boom, this is your town.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be like the core 3-minute slice of the whole region, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll transition into, this is your town. This is your town. This is your town. And then send those out. So,
I mean, I think that's great. I belong. And there's an app. Oh, where am I going? There's also an app that's a teleprompter too. If you want to start there, it's called Big View.
Yep.
That I've used quite a bit in the past, but I've kind of outgrown it now.
Right.
But, I mean, I think anything that you can make an email, you can make a video.
Absolutely. And that was my aha. And the nice thing about, again, the video is now it's searchable. Now it's content.
Right.
Now it's on your channel.
Yep.
Right?
And that's what you have to do, right? It needs to go anywhere and everywhere. So it needs to be on YouTube, needs to be on Facebook, it needs to be on Instagram, whatever social media platforms you use. I like to watch TikTok. I cannot ever see me being a TikToker, but you never know. It's so much.
Successfully.
It is pretty funny. And we actually have some mutual friends who do some pretty great TikTok videos on there. But so you're taking that content, it goes out in you're doing one video, goes out in your weekly email, it goes on your YouTube channel, you put it on Facebook. And I think once you knock that out, if you really take the time to do it, you could do it on a Sunday evening, like you were saying, sitting around, knock out these videos you're talking about, right? And regurgitate it, for lack of a better term, everywhere, right? And even schedule it so it does that. So now you're hitting all your channels, right? All your opportunities.
That's where it starts to get interesting, and I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is fun. I think that is, it's one of my favorite parts about, real estate. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to negotiate. I like to win multiple offers, but I also like to kind of my brain work around it.
Exercise the creative, that you never thought you'd have the opportunity to.
Not from where I came from, no sir. No, not the little.
If you said to 17-year-old Chris Norton that he'd be making money in his, late 40s behind a camera, I would be like, "You're
right.
Crap.
Yeah, exactly, exactly."
But here I am.
Yeah. So. Well, this is awesome. I love it. We'll wrap it up because again, we want people to want. We have attention.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, but we're gonna share all the links that you have, your contact info, because you're also the tech trainer for your market center, right?
I am the tech trainer for market.
Yeah.
It actually, so I do twice a week. I hold office hours for my market center, where it's command centric. How do I'm having this problem, and the problem people most often have, besides the fact that they're afraid of it and haven't touched it, has to do with the lead gen pieces. They don't really know how to take advantage of the lead gen capabilities that exist within it. So I cover that a lot. I have an open invite to the people in my downline that, hey, if they want to come to this thing, they're more than welcome to, and ask questions. So I can give you the link to that.
That's perfect.
So if you want to drop in, they can drop in.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to talk to them.
Well, and it's always good to get unique perspectives from different areas and what other people are doing. I mean,
Right.
that's the best part about having this, referral network of agents everywhere is really the
Mhm.
masterminding and the growing together.
Right. I was gonna say, I'm sure some of those people aren't KW and they're like, I don't know what that means. This is a free pass to kind of look behind the curtain
Hmm.
and get a sense of, some of the stuff we talk about.
Hmm.
You're welcome to come in.
Yeah.
And
Our tech
it's one of the
offerings.
things that, yeah, my team leader brings people to these for, recruiting calls all the time because it's a good opportunity
Yeah.
for them to see, what are they talking
Yeah.
about?
There's no
Is it all smoke
secrets
and
at
mirrors?
KW.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But if you're uncomfortable asking it locally,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Great idea.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one
Yeah.
thing I've never been accused of.
Yeah. Same. Same. All right. Awesome, Chris. Thank you so much again for your time.
Thanks, Erin.
I really
Great
appreciate
seeing
this.
you. Love the glasses, by the way.
Thanks. I got them in like all the colors. My glasses are made. Somebody told me a couple of years ago I needed to go get like LASIK or something, and that idea is just too much for me. So kudos to those who can handle that. But I'm like, I just got to keep making it a thing.
I was double Xanaxed and I had stress balls in both eyes.
Yeah, there's not
And
enough vodka in the world for me to do that.
well, I have a degree in human physiology, so as the guy was recording for to keep himself out of jail,
Mhm.
as he was recording it, I was listening to what he was saying. I understood every word, and so I was like,
No, 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 no. Yeah, no. Kudos to those who can do it, but I'm just gonna keep buying weird and funky glasses instead. Make it my
Well,
thing.
work that into your branding.
My good friend Cheryl Hyatt Smith, she is a team leader out in Colorado. She was in Virginia for a long time. She actually sent me cookies because a lot of times I have my glasses up here. And she sent me cookies with it's like a silhouette of my face with my glasses up here. And I just thought it was legitimately the best thing ever. And so I did actually have a cartoon. I never
That's
use it.
awesome.
I need to use it. I got to go get it. So,
Right.
all right, guys. Well,
Well,
thanks
listen,
so
hey,
much
great
and
seeing
stay
you again.
tuned.
Yes.
You too.
All right.
All right, everybody have a good one.
All right. Bye.